Welcome, everyone. I'm Chanel, and of course, here with us today is Alinka. For this episode, let's dive into your questions about Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. So, Alinka, what is Amazon KDP and how does this help authors and publishers?
Hmm. KDP stands for Kindle Direct Publishing, and it's Jeff Bezos' gift to humanity. Essentially, what it allows us to do, it allows anybody to be able to publish a book, which doesn't mean just anybody should, but anybody can.
Mhm. Okay, so how does this help authors and publishers now that Amazon has made this more accessible to people?
Well, it's not just Amazon, it's also other platforms. So essentially, right now, the gap between traditional publishers and self-publishers is becoming smaller and smaller until eventually it's going to disappear altogether as far as distribution is concerned. Because we all use the same editors, we all use the same cover artists, we all use the same professionals, because the professionals that work in traditional publishing houses, they are going to work with entrepreneurial publishing houses like Leaders Brands. So essentially what this means is that there are no more gatekeepers.
Mhm.
The gatekeepers, that once upon a time would decide whether your manuscript was worthy, they no longer exist. So I mean, that is partially a really great thing, and then on the flip side, not such a great thing, just because you're going to see a lot of poor quality booklets or books coming out. When I mentioned, the professionals that work with traditional publishing houses, work with entrepreneurial publishing houses, hybrids, a lot of self-published authors, they are not going to hire such professionals, meaning that they're just going to release a book that's not really high quality.
Okay, so related to that, by your observation, what mistakes do first-time authors make when entering KDP and how can they avoid it?
Well, I think the main mistake is just being all euphoric about, ooh, now I can publish my manuscript that I've had in my drawer or on my drive for the last 10 years, and then just go through the steps, pick just any generic cover, pick any keywords and categories that they feel resonate, and hit publish. So like it's sort of like saying, I have a word processor, so I'm going to write a book, right? It's like, yes, we all use this tool, but the quality of the book that you're going to write with Word is going to be very different depending on who's actually sitting at that keyboard. In the same way, KDP is a tool. It's a tool that all publishers use, but in order to actually leverage it to be able to get the book out for the reasons that you are writing it, like that's a whole different approach that we need to take to going through KDP.
Mhm. Okay, so for others who wants to publish and make their book a part of the bestseller ranking, so what's your approach or tip in selecting the right category so that the book will be a bestseller?
Well, there's specific software that publishers use to select the best categories. Essentially, if you want a rule of thumb, you want a category that's broad enough for it to be seen, and niche enough for you to be able to have a chance at becoming a bestseller. Becoming a best-selling author, like the categories that you choose, that's just a fraction of the overall effort and preparation that needs to be done in order to get there. Yes, categories and keywords are important, but that's just part of an overall strategy that you put together, and it's part of an orchestrated campaign for the launch of the book. So what we're talking about, people see KDP as the holy grail. It's not. It's just a tool. It's like saying, I have a kitchen. I have a kitchen, so I'm gonna win a Michelin star. Like that's sort of how some people reason.
Mhm.
It's it's totally not that way.
Okay, and then another question is, what's the biggest missed opportunity authors overlook on Amazon?
Well, I feel like on Amazon, it's really a long-term game. So yes, we do focus on the launch, and we want the launch. It's with the algorithms, you only have one chance to make a good first impression and to show the algorithms that this new product that we just released is making Amazon money. So if we show that to Amazon, Amazon's going to show it in more categories, and more people are going to see it and buy it. And if you do that later on, not during launch, but later on, Amazon might think, oh, this is just a spike, this is something random, that happened right now, as opposed to if you orchestrate a campaign where you're consistently showing sales, then they consider you as a consistent seller.
Mhm.
So they give you better visibility. So the most overlooked thing, I think, is just uh, not realizing that KDP is a tool. One of the
Mhm.
funniest and maybe also the most tragic things I've heard, authors tell me is, when we talk about book publishing, and often people come to me who haven't had much success, even though they use KDP to get their book out, and I ask, okay, so like what happened? And they say, well, I mean, Amazon was marketing my book, and then I try to ask, like, how do you mean Amazon was marketing? Well, it was on Amazon. Okay, so like there's this huge misconception, like the fact that you put something on KDP, that doesn't mean Amazon is marketing anything. Like it's like uh I know it's like what's the equivalent of that, of, let's say you have some sort of bulletin board in a supermarket, or at university, and you post your dog sitting services. Like that doesn't mean the supermarket is marketing your services, or that the university is marketing your services. It just means you got a spot on the board, like millions of other books did. Okay, so there's nothing extra that Amazon is doing for your book that it isn't doing for the millions of other books out there.
Mhm.
So KDP is the foundation. Everybody needs to go through it. Each type of publisher has to go through this dashboard. Traditional publishers, hybrid
Mhm.
publishers, self publishers, like we all use the same tool. Now, the way to really be able to leverage it and be successful is to know how exactly to go through each step.
Mhm. Okay, also, on the other hand, if someone's goal is authority and influence and not just book sales, how should they approach KDP differently?
Well, I feel the way you approach KDP either way is by prioritizing conversion.
Mhm.
So in any business or digital business equation, like we have traffic and we have conversion. So traffic is how are we getting the people to our retailer site, and conversion is what happens. How are we getting people to who come to our retailer site, or to our Amazon page in this case? How do we get these people to buy the book? So first, let's focus on conversion, because it doesn't make sense to invest in traffic. And yes, you need to invest in traffic. That's giving people a reason to go to that page. That could be ads or any type of thing. So before we invest in traffic, we need to make sure our page converts. So how do we make sure our landing page, our sales page converts? Well, if we're going to use KDP, then we need to make sure, yes, we get the categories, yes, we get the keywords, the description is super important. The copywriting, it's a whole thing. How do you write a description that's going to hook your reader? How do you write a headline that's going to get your reader to read the first sentence? How do you write the first sentence so that they read the second sentence, and so on? How do
Mhm.
you write the last line, a call to action, so that they actually buy the book? How do you upload that cover? But before you upload that cover, you need to create that cover. There's a whole thing about what types of covers sell, what type of colors, images, what's the ratio, all these things. How do you fit in, and how do you stand out at the same time? the cover is going to be one of the primary factors of the success of your book. Then we need to leverage the real estate that we have, that's reviews. How do we get editorial reviews? How do we make sure we have 6, 8, 10, 12 reviews from well-known people, so that when readers get to that page, they will see those names or those companies' names, and they're going to say, oh, okay, well, this is impressive. I'm going to get this book. How do we leverage the bio of the author, so that there's no weird space with some sort of profile sketch where you don't even have your photograph. So all of these things need to be complete before we even tell the world about this page. Why waste our breath about telling the world about the book if that page is not complete? And even those people who will dedicate their precious time, a couple of seconds, to get to that page, they're not going to buy because there's nothing on it. So KDP is a pretty well is something that people are looking for and trying to understand, which is why we're recording this video. But it's essentially a tool. Like, we could call this video how to use Word to write your book. It's a tool. So it's really about like, we need to ask ourselves the bigger why. Like, why are we even interested in KDP? What is that thing that's causing us to want to look into it? Is it because we're fed up with the whole idea of traditional publishing and gatekeepers, and we want to take things into our own hands? And now that we realize it can be done, now we see, okay, so now this is like building a house. Do I want to build my house with my own hands, put the bricks together, and do the windows, and paint the walls, and do the garden, and the electricity, and the plumbing, and all the stuff? Or are we going to hire individuals separately who are going to do these things? Or are we going to get a company that's going to take care of this for us, because they've built hundreds of houses before, and they know exactly how to do it, how to get people that are competent, how to do it on time. And then we know that we're going to have the best house that's going to survive for generations, or the best quality book that's going to withstand the test of time.
For the last question, how can authors leverage KDP beyond book sales, especially in terms of speaking, consulting, and media?
Yeah, so leveraging KDP is just how to leverage your book, essentially. So the number one goal should be to get the book into as many hands as possible. So what is the strategy for that? And actually, that's true only for some people, particularly for business people who have something that they want to offer after readers read the book. Because if you're a fiction author, maybe you don't want to leverage for the largest number of people who see your book. Maybe you want to leverage for the highest revenue you get from the book. So you're going to optimize for the highest royalty. And at a certain point, you might see that if you make the book available to more people, actually you make less in royalty, so you make less overall, and that's not your strategy. However, if you're a business person, an entrepreneur, and your goal is to use the book to grow your business, to grow your authority, to grow your reach, then you absolutely want to get the book into the largest number of hands, and that might mean going as low with the price as possible. That's one of the strategies. You might say that you don't there's cost of acquisition. You pay for each person that signs up on your calendar, that shows up to a call, like that you're paying, I don't know, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. Like I was just listening to a video on that. So you already know that. How can we make that cost go down? Like, if we give away a book that we wrote, which shows our expertise, our authority, how we can help people, we give it away for free. And that means typically a book that's given away for free is going to get 100 times more people to want to get it than if it's a 99-cent book. So maybe our strategy is to give the book away for free, so that the largest number of people can find out how we can help them, what our value is, and then they hop on a call and want to work with us. So it really depends. In either case, we probably want to figure out how to become a best-selling author, because that helps in either way. It turns you into the authority. So whether it's for consulting, more business, more speaking gigs, or higher paid speaking gigs, either
Mhm.
way, we want to get that bestseller status. But KDP is just a tool that we use. It's a whole other marketing campaign that we need to orchestrate. And yes, we do use KDP as the tool, but all of the marketing around it, or all of the traffic, or a lot of the traffic um, that's going to contribute to that bestseller status, is going to be beyond the capability of KDP, or what we're going to do with KDP.
All right, so that wraps up. Thank you, Linka, for this informative answers. And for anyone who's watching this video, for any of your publishing
Our
curiosities,
content.
visit across our social media platforms. You can find us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. You can find us either under the username Leaders Brands or alinka.leadersbrands. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.